Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Now, the very interesting topic which will give you the opportunity, right. So far we have discussed and we have talked about this particular leadership and team building effectiveness and all, but now this particular topic will give you an opportunity to make the practice at your workplace, to think of yourself on basis of all these and design your own model. So, therefore, that is a creativity. That is how we enhance the creativity and how we solve the problem. Now, you see many times we find that is the many people find some same problem is very difficult and challenging, while the other person with the same status that he finds that is this problem can be solved, and then he accept the challenge and the work on that particular challenge. So, exactly what is the one person personality characteristics which are making this particular difference, and that is about the creativity is there. Dear friends, you will find that is the, if you want to solve any particular problem, need not to go through the only whatever has been laid down principles, but then you can implement your own model, own thought process, your own trial and error practices that will solve your problem is there, right. Maybe the interpersonal problem and maybe the personal or professional problems are concerned. So, how we can make the use of this particular creativity trait, personality trait, and that we will be discussing in this particular session is there. So, first we have to understand that is a problem solving, everybody understand that is a problem has to be solved. So, what is new in that, and that is about the creative problem solving that we will try to understand. Then there are the core principles of creative problem solving, then the this creative problem solving learners model, steps in the problem solving, convergent versus the divergent thinking, the creative problem solving process, tools and strategies, want to be more valuable in your career, then how to be more valuable in our career, and how to improve your creativity skills, and 5 ways to sharpen your problem solving skills, and as usual the case study, research papers, book recommendations and the references are concerned. Now, we have to first understand that is the can we taught the creativity. So, in the Creative Education Foundation, the first developed the creative problem solving in the 1940s. So, along with the term the brainstorming, and together with the seed parents he developed the Osborne Parents creative problem solving process is there. I have discussed these techniques and tools in my earlier subject that is about the training of trainers, that is always go for these brainstorming meetings and the group discussions, and this type of these the processes and at the work culture, they are helping you to come out with the new solutions. And therefore, whenever we are talking about the creative problem solving, then it is an approach that identifies unique solution to issues through a process of problem identification and the resolution planning is there. Now, this is the another aspect like the many people are getting involved more in the symptoms of the problems, and therefore, they are not able to identify that is what is the problem is there, and when the problem is not identified, how you can give the unique solution to that particular problem is there. So, the first and foremost requirement is that there is a problem identification, and once you are able to identify the problem, simple examples I always give about that is a productivity and absenteeism is there, and many people they start working on this, but these are not the problems. these are the symptoms of the problems. So many times on the tips of the iceberg only, that is we try to work, and we are overlooking, that is what is the root cause is there, and therefore in that case it is always better, that is we go for this the problem identification first, and once we understand the problem correctly, then definitely we can make the attempt to solve that particular problem. Now, here when there can be the different ways of the traditional methods and traditional ways are there, here we will talk about the creative problem solving is there. So, first and foremost which is important is that is a stay informed. Now, many leaders, they are not aware that what is the actually happening at the ground root level is there, and therefore, in that case that information process that is required to be very strong is there. Once that is the full information person will have, he will be able to recognize that is there is some problem is there, and on basis of that first acceptance, that is there is a problem, then problem identification will be there. So, unless and until the one does not agree that there is a problem, there will be no problem, identification will not be there is there, right. Now, in the previous sessions we have talked about the idea generation and creativity is there, that is how you can enhance that creativity and ideas, as much as ideas to generate as much as possible. So, therefore, in that case we that is about the brainstorming, group discussion, meetings, and then what we say that is about the collective wisdom, and that will be used to make the decision making will be there, and whatever the decision will be there, and that will be having the plan crafting will be done. That is the decision has to be implemented, and in the implementation of that particular decision you have to be risk taker also. So, therefore, if you are a risk taker, you will take the lead, and if you will take the lead, you will be the champion. So, to become the champion, it is necessary that is whatever the planning you are suggesting, that planning you are able to implement, and when you are making the implementation you will be able to solve the particular problem, because that is implemented, and once it is implemented, then again you can take the feedback, and then again you can go for the further development as the solutions for that particular problem is concerned. The core principles for this creative problem solving, that is the first and foremost is divergent and convergent thinking must be balanced. Now, you see that is the many people they will give the solutions whenever you will have the brainstorming session. Now, what type of solutions they give? Is they are realistic, they are achievable or not, or they are just going to be the divergent, right, and when they are going just divergent, then in that case there will be no solution, because practically that will not be possible. Some people will go very traditionally, and therefore, in that case they will be totally different than what has been said by those divergent people is there. So, therefore, a question arises, when to practice each one is there, whether we have to go by the divergent or we have to go by the convergent is there. So, ask problems as questions. When you rephrase problems and challenges as open ended questions with multiple possibilities, it is easier to come up with the solutions is there. So, therefore, brainstorming session that is to be ignited. So, when you ignite the brainstorming session with the open ended question is there, there is no framework, there is no boundary, and therefore, in that case as soon as you ask the open ended question, every individual on the basis of his experience, on the basis of his education, knowledge, he will try to give these solutions to he will give. So, asking this type of questions that is the open questions generates lot of rich information, while asking closed questions which tend to elicit short answers such as confirmations or the disagreements are there. So, therefore, in that case what are those short answers there will be these solutions to be these particular problems. So, therefore, that will depend upon the structure of the brainstorming done by the leader and members. Therefore, as the suspended judgment is there, as Alex Osborne learned from his work on brainstorming, judging solutions early on tends to shut down the idea generation. Now you see many times the people they very fast conclude that this is the decision which is to be taken, but then in that case what is happening, many ideas are shut down. Instead, there is an appropriate and necessary time to judge ideas during the convergent stage is there, and therefore, in that case many times it is not a divergent, right, rather you have to go by the convergent stage is there. When you will go by the convergent stage is there, so therefore, you will be taking the help of the each and every person, and the approach will be very positive, and then in that case the decision which has been made by this particular group, that will help and the leader also to take the decisions. Focus on yes and rather than no, but therefore, it always because everything is uncertain. So, therefore, you can say yes also and you can say no also, but what is suggested is that is the yes and we can try. So, therefore, that will be encouraging people to expand their thoughts, which is necessary during the certain stages of the critical problem solving. While using the word but, then many people are saying that is your idea is very good, but we cannot implement. So, as soon as you put the but preceded by the yes or no, ends conversation and often neglects what is the come before it is there. So, never have this particular approach of that is a no, but rather than always prefer to go by the yes and this is possible and we can do it. So, this critical problem solving you can use of the 4 steps of the creative problem solving is that is to generate innovative ideas and solutions. So, now it is the responsibility of the leader, that is how this creative problem solving he will be able to generate in the brainstorming session. So, first and foremost is that is he has to clarify. So, identifying the challenge, that is the whatever these the problem is there, then that has to be very much clarify is there, because that goals which is to be achieved, and then in that case simple example is you want to minimize the manpower, and then in that case the clarification is that why we want to minimize the manpower, because of the economic conditions, then the VRS cannot be the right solution, because in the VRS you have to give the money. Is there any other solution without giving the money we can retrench the manpower? And then the ideate is there, that is whatever the idea is given, and then in that case that is generating ideas are there, and then the development bringing the ideas to the life and then at actual direction that we are developing, and then implement this particular idea is there. So, therefore, in that case whenever we clarify and the ideate develops and implement, then those particular ideas and which have been generated, they will help us to really solving the problem is there. In the case whenever we are not going by these the understanding of that what we want exactly and what ideas are required, whether the financial ideas are required, whether the non-financial ideas are required, or the further development is concerned, then in that case it will be very difficult to implement these particular ideas. So, when we talk about the clarifying the explore the vision, the goal, wish or challenge is there, that is and normally this goal is about a particular task, or the new product development is there, or the market extension is there, and this is related the explore the vision is there, and we gather the data, describe and generate data to enable a clear understanding of the challenges there, and therefore, in that case we are able to develop this particular understanding, right, for this the how we can solve this particular problem is there. As I was giving the example of the minimizing the manpower is concerned, and therefore, it should be very clear, that is the why we want to minimize the manpower, and as we clarify, that is the competitiveness is there, the financial conditions are there, social conditions are there, technological conditions are there, and then in that exactly what is the reason is there. So, we have the clear cut data which will be talking about that what are the issues are there. On the basis of these issues which has been emerged, then definitely we will create the challenge questions that invite the solutions are there. Now, whenever the challenges are invited, then they will be the exploring the idea that will be fulfilling that particular need of that solution. So, therefore, it is the formulate the solutions to move from ideas to solutions, evaluate, strengthen and select solutions for the best fit is there. So, if we are able to evaluate may may be on the basis of the resources, whether it is possible or it is not possible. Similarly, the strengthen, that is whether we are able to strengthen or it will be weaken in the case of we will implement it, and select the solutions for the best fit is there for every organization. For every group, every team, every family, there will be the different solutions, that cannot be the uniform solution for all, and therefore select the solutions for the best fit for that particular situation is there, and then the implement is there, and therefore you will be able to implement your ideas, so that you can achieve your goal. So, the steps in the problem solving are the 5 primary steps in problem solving is there: to analyze the causes to the unwanted situation and generate the set of alternative interventions to achieve your end goal is there. And here we will find it is whenever we search, and especially the leader searches for the solutions are there, and then he has to create the alternatives, as much alternatives as much as possible is there, because when you will create the number of alternatives, you will be able to evaluate the alternatives. If your alternatives are very less, your choices are very less, and then it will be very difficult for you to select your choice and solve the problem. So, therefore, they evaluate the best solutions. Whatever the alternatives are there, always evaluate these alternatives, and then these alternatives can be evaluated on the basis of the resources which the organizations have. So, therefore, in the case the certain resources organizations is very strong, so then that solution will be applicable. For example, the manpower, if the organization is having the manpower, then definitely there will be a solution. If organization having the technology, then definitely that will be another solution. So, therefore, we have to understand, evaluate the best solution based on the whatever the best available resource is there for the solving the problem. Then the implement a plan is there, that is the whenever that solutions which we are after the evaluation, we have finally adopted a particular solution, and that solution will be implemented, and then there will be the assess, the effectiveness will be developed. Now, we have talked about earlier also the convergent versus divergent thinking and the process of figuring out a concrete solution to any particular problem. So, it is a straightforward process that focuses on the figuring out the most effective answer to a particular problem is there. Now, the priorities. You can decide the priority 1, priority 2, priority 3 on the basis of that is what will be the most effective answer will be there, and therefore, it should include the speed, accuracy and logic. Now, these dimensions which have been mentioned here, this may keep on changing, and therefore, it will depend from the task to task. In the case of the divergent is there, then they explores the multiple possible solutions in order to generate creative ideas. It is opening the mind in various directions and trying out multiple solutions for a problem is there. So, same mind is working for the different solutions is there. Its characteristics include the spontaneous, fear for flowing and the non-linear is there, and therefore, in that case this type of this thinking that may lead to the many times to not identify the solutions to the problem. So, this in the case of these some structures can be applied at various stages of the problem solving process. The divergent thinking, brainstorming is there. So, example in the beginning also we have given this particular example. So, it is defined by the Alex Osborne as a group's attempt to find a solution for a specific problem by amazing the ideas are there, and the 5 W's and H, that is what, where, when, how, and the who. Then on basis of this we can work and can initiate our ideas is there, that is the if this is the solution, then who will be able to provide these particular solutions, and what will be the exact material or matter are required, and where we will be able to get this particular solution, and why we should go only for this particular solution. And therefore, we talk here about it is the evaluation of the solution and selecting the best solution is there, and the most important point will be the how, that is when we will be able to implement this particular solution is there. So, therefore, in that case in the brainstorming sessions we find the different ideas from different types of people. So, reverse assumptions is this activity is a great way to explore the new ideas are there. Now, you see normally we always go by understanding in a one vertical only, right, but whenever it is challenge, right, that is called the reverse assumptions are there, then definitely we have to think whether it was possible to get these solutions in the reverse assumptions also. In the convergent thinking tool, there is a how diagram. This is a perfect activity to use when figuring out the steps required to implement a solution is there, and the evaluation matrix is there, creates a systematic way of analyzing and comparing the multiple solutions, and then we will able to develop. The pair and share is there, this is suitable to help develop promising ideas. And whenever we are having these promising ideas, after making a list of possible solutions or questions to the pursuits, each individual student write down their top 3 ideas are there, and this type of the exercises can be done in the organizations also. Wherever you are at the workplace, you ask your team members, that is give your top 3 ideas to solve this particular problem is there. And especially in case of the Japanese companies, we find that is this type of the initiative has been given to the academic institute also to identify the solutions to the problems are there. You want to be the more valuable in your career, then in that case you need to understand the relationship of creativity, innovation and problem solving is there. On purpose of a mix of the growth mindset and the curiosity combined with the actual problem solving tool. Now, the growth mindset is in the case it depends on the environment is there, and then in the if the environment is provided, the individual will be think of the career is there. It is the organization's responsibility. Organization should create that work culture, that work climate. So, therefore, in that case the people are having the growth mindset is there. Now, in many organizations we find that is the people are not voluntarily are coming forward for solving these problems and the growth mindset and the curiosity, right. Then in that case, if that is not the culture, then problem solving will not be there. So, which hopefully it is the better solutions that if implemented would be innovative. So, sounds complicated. So, let us break down, then we find that is being more creative on the purpose is there. So, how to be more creative, that is the knowing, seek out the knowledge, learning and experiences that take you down a creative path is there. So, right from the childhood that we are gaining the knowledge is there, right, and then at the right time we have to compile that knowledge and convert into that into the wisdom is there. So, these learning and experiences that take you down to a creative path. So, that freedom is to be given. Many times it has been found that is the lack of that freedom, and that is not making the person to build their own career. So, learning how to solve problems are there. So, you do not solve problems by pulling random people in a room and doing a brainstorming session that goes nowhere over 2 hours. So, first research and learn problem solving frameworks. Second, learn how to really identify the real problem and not the symptoms are there. So, therefore, in that case it is becoming very important, that is the you collecting the people, those who are highly concerned and expertise, and when they work on they do the detailing of that particular problem, and they making that is the what can be the solving the framework is there. So, therefore, that research and the framework to solve that particular problem, that learning is very important. Second, learn how to really identify the real problem and not the symptom is there, that which I have talked earlier also. Now, allowing the innovation to happen. Now, if I asked to be more innovative, what would you do? So, therefore, it is almost impossible to be innovative on purpose. This is where the formula mentioned below comes into play, is growth mindset, which is very important for an individual. Then he should have the curiosity, and then on basis of that curiosity he will be developing the problem solving framework, and tools will be designed, and finally, the potential innovation will be there. So, therefore, these parameters of the growth mindset and curiosity problem solving framework, that is the is whose responsibility? Actually, it is the responsibility of the leader and the organization to create where these people their minds are ignited. Many times very creative employees, without giving any contribution, they are getting retired. So, therefore, in that case it is always better that is we are able to work on this formula and create that particular environment. Now, as we have learned, creativity skills are really desirable for employers and can be incredibly useful in the workplaces there. So how do we can develop this our creativity is there. First and foremost is that is working on your self awareness. So, becoming the self aware and acknowledging the limitations of our own thought process when it comes to creativity is the first step to becoming more creative and innovative of ourselves is concerned. Second is the practice empathy. So, therefore, it is an emotional intelligence and will allow us to understand the viewpoints of customer, clients and co-workers. Now, many times the people develop the product without understanding the customer or clients the concern or the problems are there. So, then in that case that product has to be unsuccessful. So, expand your knowledge, become an expert in your field and you will understand every angle of the problem is there. So, draw on your previous experiences that is why it is those who are experienced one they are very helpful to identify the solution is there. So, looking to the experiences we had in the past and harness our personal history to give the perspective on the situation at hand is there. Then the collaborate with others is there, one of the best ways of conjuring the creative solutions as well as the identifying and the potentially obvious solutions. So, when we have started with the brainstorming it was nothing but it was a collaborative efforts only. So, finally, we come to the how to sharpen our problem solving skills. So, questions the problem repeatedly with why is there and it do by asking yourself why did this problem occur, and follow up on your answer with another why. Keep going until you dig into the root cause is there, and after understanding that from where this problem has started, take out a piece of paper, few colored pens and draw a mind map. So, therefore, in that case make yourself available to think about it and then the write about that is the what is the idea is there. So, many times what happens that is the we solve the problem with the limited circle is there. So, in the case when we talk about that is the if the person is having the this much only the horizon, right, then when he takes these pen and draw a mind map of the problem. So, what happens that he is expanding his horizon. So, this particular expansion is possible only when the person is having that drawing and understanding that is what is my horizon is there. Limited horizon is created, then solution will be very limited, but when you are enhancing horizon, then in that case that will be the solutions will be there. Now, then you list down all the solutions that what are the solutions are possible, and then always be willing to learn that is the how, because some of the solutions that may be challenging because you have to acquire new knowledge, new skills, new technology, and there is always room for the improvement is there. Then give your brain a good workout and puzzles and brain teasers. So, therefore, in that case this may sound like child's play, but doing puzzles and playing the games involving the logic like chess and the sudoku hones your problem solving skills. So, therefore, in that case always keep your brain in the challenging environment so that your brain cells are always active to solve to help you. So, by helping you learn strategies and technique that you can later apply to the real life solutions is there. And this is the case study as usual. You can go through this particular case study and find out that is the how when we are talking about the Coke versus Pepsi, then what are the different is there in the strategies, and then how this success of the Coke versus Pepsi that has happened. So, once you know about this problem solving, as I already mentioned, that is a case study analysis that is becoming a very important tool always to know the approach how to solve the problems are there. This is the research paper, creative problem solving techniques, paradigm shift and the team performance, and therefore, through this research paper you will be able to understand that is how we can learn and think to identify the problems and they solve the problems are there. And this is the book which will be helping you to understand the creativity and the problem solving, right, the Brian Tracy Success Library, that will help you. And this book will give you the direction to be more and more creative. These are the references which are for this current study also and for your future references. This is all about, that is the how to be creative for and solve the problem. Thank you.